Okay, what I'm getting is somewhere around here, somewhere between the heart and the heart chakra and solar plexus chakra. If I focus my if I visualize a sun, a little sun, starting out small and then growing bigger, not heat, not fire per se, but just life-giving light, and start with that, it'll help. They're reminding me that one of the things about me that makes this a little challenging is being such a control freak, and they're helping me with that. They're helping me understand and hopefully convey that that comes from a fear mostly. In my case, the fear has to do with the loss of well, fear of weakness of any kind, and they're reminding me that the big cats, the big cat energy, is far from weak. That self-love is one of the most empowering things there is, and it helps a person radiate that to their family as well. And this true respect for yourself, it's like, okay, now they're showing me that movie, The Never-Ending Story, that a lot of us watched maybe when we were kids, or, well, I don't know how old you are, it doesn't matter, but the part where Atreyu has to pass through like a couple barriers, a couple special gates for his quest to like get the knowledge he needs or whatever. And the gate with the Sphinx, the two Sphinx-like beings that were at the gate, and he watched as someone with all their shiny armor on tried to go through and they got zapped dead. And the message was about that gate, what guards it is what you really think of yourself. It's not about what you project outwardly, it's not how you try to look. It's what is your real perception of your self-worth. Okay, and that has to do with the journey inward, to finding your own center, your own heart, your own center, where you will be the healthiest. You will radiate self-love so you can heal diseases, injuries, etc. to yourself and others. But it starts with that self-love, and in order to get in that deep, to travel inward, that's one of the things you have to pass by, the Sphinx-like gates that see right through you and know whether you truly have a healthy appreciation and idea of your own worth and value. This energy is big on that, and this energy is lacking in this human world big time. Oh, interesting. This guy, just like so many of you, although he means well, sometimes he's way, way, way too hard on himself and others. He does it from a good place and it's honorable, but it often keeps him from really being centered in his own heart, you can call it, or his own center. The sun, the life-giving energy at the center of his being. He often blocks this by being critical, by setting high standards that are in many cases practically impossible, and then If he doesn't experience achieving every bit of that on the first try, he's brutal, even cruel to himself, and sometimes that energy somewhat reflects to others, and we're only using him as an example, but this applies to most your peoples in your world. If you truly pass through those inner gates and find your center and find who you really are there, you'll be in love with what you find, like we are. They're showing me what pisses people off about cats sometimes. Even like, little kitty cats in our world, house cats. A lot of people have seen this. The whole so self-satisfied attitude. This is why in your world you say, are you a cat person or a dog person? And we love ourselves and anything else really. But some of you get so angry when you see that self-love and self-satisfaction, you can't get a cat to kiss up to you, A cat loves itself deeply, and it'll show you its respect or appreciation for you when it feels like it. And when it does, it'll be truly genuine, because that animal doesn't need to kiss up or suck up or anything like that, What else? Okay, interesting. We're speaking on terms that apply very much to this individual that we're speaking through, but also many of you may not be totally aware of it, but many of your species, or what you call human, because you've lived in a patriarchal type world for so long, you're actually afraid. You're afraid of the female side of yourself, and you're afraid of the inner side of yourself. Not all of you are afraid of something scary there. Some of you are afraid that you will somehow become weak by being more in touch with this. And what we would have you know is that we are like mighty lions. We are where your mighty lions come from. And we are in no way weak. We don't fear other beings of any kind, and we don't need to. We've always handled ourselves when it comes to anything. But we are a more matriarchal type of species overall. That's not to say the male expressions of us are pushed around or, second-class citizens, not at all. It's simply to say that in our families, and our family extends beyond what you consider family, but in our families, a lot of the energy, a lot of the wisdom, a lot of what we center around, our activities, our way of being, has more to do with the females among us. And we find that centering more around that energy actually creates a much stronger family and makes us stronger as individuals as well, because we're healthier in our hearts, in our love for ourselves, and our appreciation for our inner world, just as much as our outer. You look at some of the animal expressions we help to put on your planet, and as much as you admire some of them, you find it difficult to understand how such great, big, powerful creatures spend most of their time being what you call lazy. But we're not lazy. We're secure with ourselves. We don't need to spend all the minutes and hours of our day running around confused, in mostly vain efforts to achieve this or prove that or gain something that we can simply attract into our lives with the confidence and appreciation we already have for ourselves. That makes sense. Wow. This individual, yeah, this individual we're sending energy through now into your world. Knows what it's like to actually hug a lion, for example. And if he hadn't done so, he would have been more out of touch with his own heart than he already was. He didn't know it at the time, why he did these things, why he loved these animals so much he had to interact with them. At the time he saw himself more as caretaker, but he understands now that it was at the very least a mutual caretaking, and in many ways we were giving more to him through them than he was to them. By feeding them, by playing with them, by cleaning up after them. It was really more something being given to him. And just the same, when we interact with humanity, it is not to take anything. We enjoy the interactions with you. We enjoy feeling your feelings, seeing things through the lenses or the emotions that you often see things through. But we have a lot to give to you, and really nothing to take. And we are the source of these energies. We don't lose anything by giving to anyone else. In fact, one message we've been trying to put into your world, and have succeeded to a limited extent, and this is an individual thing, what you receive of it, is that by giving more love, you don't lose any, it only grows. But you can't force this in your current context of because you're supposed to, or it's expected of you, or you think that's what makes you a good person. Not at all. You need to pass through those inner gates. You need to find your own center, and then you'll be in love. And when you're truly in love with yourself, as we are, being the source of love, like the sun itself, sending out its rays to energize everything, comes natural. And you're still remaining centered deeply in love with yourself, and that's how this happens. Being frustrated with yourself that you don't know how to interact with your families or your tribes or your, in your current context, societies might be the word. Understand from us that those are all limitations. Your family could be all on your planet as it is on our world. We're all friends. We're all family to each other because we're in love deep inside with ourselves. And therefore that love comes natural between us for each other. This healthy relationship with yourself is completely healing and completely empowering and very centering. We realize that some kinds of activities, it serves you to be extra grounded. Other activities or concerns or interests may require you to be more ungrounded or etheric or in your higher chakras or energy fields. But you should, if you care to have the energy we send, we'd like to remind you that you should recenter yourself deep inside, pass through your inner gates of self-worth to your own amphitheater where you're the star and you're the audience and you're in love with what you see. one we're speaking this through still resists us, or our energy, or his own, along these lines, but he knows now what it feels like. His center is open now, and he can find his way in. And any time that any of you would choose to be able to let go of all your cares that keep you awake at night, that keep you squirming in strain, looking over your shoulders and afraid, picture us there with you. Give a lion a hug and feel his peace. Feel his centeredness. Feel that he fears nothing, and that's why he can relax so deeply. And so can you. And you're more powerful in this state, centered inside yourself, loving yourself, honoring yourself as the divine being you are. It seems that's one of the main things that our archetype is meant to display to all the other types of beings throughout this universe and others. Some of you have incarnations. This one has incarnations with us. You long for it, you long to return, to feel what real family and real self-love is. But we're sending this energy, and the distance doesn't even matter. It's there, and it's yours, and it's anyone's who will use it. So you don't have to want to leave this place you've chosen to be. This is one of the things you came there to embody, to spread, to give, to become the source of, so you never run out. And those golden rays of healing coming from your center, when you stay in love with yourself, will be reaching out and healing others and teaching them to do the same. Not so much teaching as helping them remember how to pass through those inner gates of self-worth and find their center and be whole again. This is a message of love. Clearly, I'm feeling a lot of it. Yeah. We're there with you just for the asking. Our energy is with you just for the asking. There's nothing even you have to do but ask us and trust us, and more importantly, trust yourself. And it'll be there within you. And the more you trust yourself, the easier it'll get to find it, to embody it, to display it, and help others find it as well. Okay. Now I'm just seeing more. The misconceptions we get looking at cats and other felines based on how most life forms on this planet are different from them, seemingly. Most life forms don't do as good a job of displaying that in love with yourself thing. That's really funny. That's really funny. It's almost cartoon-like to see it right now. But it's pretty obvious, yeah. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. And yeah, I love me. And it's kind of the same thing. Until next time, my friends, but be with me. I feel you for days now. I'm giving you hugs and you're giving me hugs, and I love it. There's nothing like sleeping in a lion pride. You want to sleep well, sleep in your lion pride. All right, there it is. Thank you. Oh man, I love that. I love that. And no doubt tonight I'll be dreaming. They'll be with me again in my dreams. Oh man. They were last night. But yeah, I actually did. One of the important things to me that I've done in my life is actually volunteer at a place where there's big cats. There's lions, tigers, leopards, cougars, lynxes, ligers, 1,100-pound ligers. I've worked with those big boys, and they're actually very gentle. They're even more gentle than, not that lions or tigers are known for being gentle, but as big cats go, the ligers were some of the most gentle. And it's a good thing because they're so big they could accidentally really hurt you. 1,100 pounds of cat. Heads that, you know, are like this big, literally. Awesome creatures, but somehow I always knew I could work with animals like that without getting hurt. And I did, and it was a wonderful thing. I can read them, they can read me. You know, I could be one of those performers that works with big cats easily, no problem. That's not my thing. I don't, you know, it's not where my life path has me right now, but I can still feel what it's like to hug them decades later when I visualize it. And it was healing for me. I didn't understand things like that so much back then. I just knew I needed to do it, and I manifested it. It was one of those things that I fantasized about so much that the opportunity actually appeared in my life. I didn't know anything about law of attraction or anything like that, but looking back, that's exactly what it was. And it was really fun. You know, wrestling around, getting tackled when I wasn't ready for it, you know, and then chasing them around. Not all, some of them had been abused and I couldn't play with them like that. I still had to go in and clean their, you know, enclosures out. That was an interesting standoff sort of a scenario when, you know, sadly the trust of an animal towards any human's been broken forever. But I managed to get in there and do what I had to do without being, you know, mauled. So even then I had, you know, it was like a divine experience. But yeah, a lot of them I literally got to hug them and play with them, and just literally it felt like I was a lion, and it was like me feeling love, you know, the love of being part of a lion pride or being a tiger's brother, you know, being a playmate for a couple mountain lions that are, you know, trying to attack me when I'm not looking, when I'm cleaning out their cage. They're trying to like play stunts on me and get me to chase them and stuff. Just some of the awesomest experiences I could ever ask for. And to this day, if I met one of those animals in the wild, you know, I wouldn't panic. I would communicate with them through feeling. It's something I can do. It's something they can do. All animals in their own way are doing that, no doubt. But those were one of the creatures on this planet I always had a connection to. And I knew it. From the time I was a little kid, even though I hadn't, you know, seen one in person yet, I knew I was connected to those animals. And beings of a feline nature have made it clear to me they're real. They exist. They're a real thing. They're real people. Found them, or they found me in the astral. Now they'd been there in one form or another for a long time, but until I was ready to see it more clearly, you know, I didn't. You guys know how this kind of thing goes. You see more what you're ready for, you know. Whether you think you're ready for more or not, or less, or whatever you do experience, it's because that's what you were ready for. So, anyway, the energy of these feline beings is wonderful. It's so incredibly good. And you know, outwardly looking at a cat, you could see them as a selfish creature, but they can teach you some of the most important things there is, even as a human, you know. As a human, we're a composite of many different types of energies. Genetics, you could say, at the mundane physical level, but, you know, at the astral, at the other layers of the onion of what we are, we're composed of a lot of different things. And it's different ratios, I'm sure, with all of us, based on what you're more in tune with. But we're all very interesting, intricate, you know, interwoven beings from a lot of different interesting amazing sources, and that's what it is to have the human experience, you know. But for getting centered into your heart area, if you want to call it that, the center of your being, where you can go inward and learn to actually love yourself and heal emotionally and mentally, which means then you get to heal physically, because diseases are psychosomatic, whether we understand that or not. Now, I realize you can cause a disease physically, like, you know, if somebody holds you down and just, you know, injects you full of arsenic. I'm not saying whatever you get from that was psychosomatic, unless we manifested that victimhood experience, which, again, I think as we grow up and, you know, kind of graduate to higher levels of perception, that's the case. So really everything is self-created. I've had a few different energies, a few different types of entities tell me that same thing in their own way now, that you're the creator, you're creating this. And the sooner you accept that and understand it, the sooner, the way the felines would show it to me is, the sooner you can feel true peace. Relax. Relax, and you won't be creating awful experiences for yourself anymore, you know? Enjoy the divine, wonderful, sensual, tasty, I can't think of the right words, but awesome, amazing, healing, you're just going to love it experience of going deeply inward and finding your center and really loving yourself. And you'll find that you're the divine being that can give you that amazing love you've been looking through, or looking for, you know, looking for it from a belief system, or looking for it from a relationship. And, you know, certainly there are good relationships where you can share a great experience of love, but the truth is, for that to be better, what you seem to be experiencing from the other person, or people, or whatever kind of relationship it is, you need to be more deeply in love with yourself first. This is what they're helping me understand. This is one of the great things they're helping me with. So I know it's really important in this world for humanity. I think these kind of teachings and energies have come from other sources, no doubt. This is, or I would assume, I don't really know. I just know this is where it's coming through for me. And I love it, because for example, to be at what I call peace, you need this. A powerful kind of peace, not a, for me, methods of being peaceful that make you just, you know, weak and vulnerable, or at least that's the way I perceive it. I'm not attracted to anything like that. It looks to me like you're living in a peaceful weakness, you know, like, for me to accept any kind of peaceful feeling, it has to be a powerful, peaceful feeling. And I would say that lions and creatures of that nature, I've often cried just observing how they live, because it's so beautiful to me and I can see it so clear. And they embody that so well. They're filled with courage, they're filled with strength, and yet they're not, they're so relaxed, you know? Because they spend most of their time, their literal actual time, just feeling this awesome glow from within. I think sometimes when people think cats are jerks or something, I think really we might just be sort of projecting our jealousy over what we're seeing there, you know what I mean? So I'm thankful that these beings are sending energy to me and through me, and I'll continue to share it when I can with whoever, because clearly this world could use a lot of that. A super self-empowered, awesome, self-composed, I can handle anything, peace and love for yourself that's just like unshakable by anything, you know? Wow. That is kind of like, I don't know, that's power. So anyway, enough of my rambling. Whatever came through is what came through. It's always good for me. And I'm going to just go continue bathing in it for the rest of this day and hopefully more. But I love you all because I love myself. So now it's not just words, you know. I always tried to do good by others, but in some ways it caused bitterness inside because I didn't do good by myself most of my life. I wasn't willing to do good unto me. Now that I am, when I say I love someone else, I actually truly do feel it. I feel what I'm saying, you know? I want them to have this, is what it is. Anyway, love and respect and power and all sorts of good blessings to all of you. I gotta go, it's getting dark. I'll go see what my cubs are up to before they tear the house apart.